Well, howdy there everyone. Almost exactly a year after my last video, I'm back. But before we do anything else, let me quickly switch over to my new camera. I hope you enjoy this new look. I recently got the new DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and I'm so excited to be able to film on this new little toy. I can thankfully say that 2024 is already off to a wonderful start, but I would be doing myself a grave disservice by not recapping the momentous year that was 2023. Oh boy, 2023. Where do I even begin? I actually know exactly where to begin because I have another nice list for myself. I have a bunch of different categories here, but I will go ahead and start with all the trips that we had this year. I feel so blessed, lucky, grateful, all of the things to be able to say I took all these wonderful trips, both for leisure and for work. Especially amazing to think about being in this cautiously post-COVID world. We kicked off the year right in February with a trip to Vegas with my family. I think we had to go back because of some kind of like hotel thing. My brother is like a member of the Hyatt whatever, I don't know what he does. He just tells us ever so often that we have to use a room in X city by X date, and we say all right and we go. And we typically drive, but we flew. We went right around Valentine's Day, and something that was so memorable about that trip was the fact that we got to see it snow in Vegas. The locals were saying this never happens, oh my goodness, like you are witnessing something super rare. We jokingly said we must have brought the chilly weather to you, you are welcome. Way colder than we expected, but still very fun nonetheless. The next one deserves its own video, so stay tuned for my Korea 2023 family trip video. I just don't even know how much I want to say right now. I will just say it was truly a trip to remember, and it was so special for so many reasons. It was the first time in 20 plus years that my mom, my brother, and I all went to Korea at the same time. That just made it incredibly special. It was also the first time all of my family was in one place together, including all my little cousins that I hadn't met prior to this trip. So that was just also very special. So many other reasons aside, it was also the first time I went to Korea as an adult with adult money. That just enhanced the trip overall. So much I can share about that, but I'll stop there for now because again, I could just go on. Then I actually went on 3 business trips this year. Again, feel very fortunate to be able to say that. The first business trip was actually right after my trip to Vegas. As soon as I got back, I had to get on another flight to go to Irvine, which was for this strategy planning meeting for the quarter. No one else at my level was at that meeting, so it was pretty interesting and a cool opportunity for me to go. The second trip was to Anaheim specifically for the world premiere of Haunted Mansion. I could say so much more about that experience and trip too, but all I'll say for now is that wow, what an incredible once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to go to a Disney world premiere. The cast was supposed to be there, but it coincided with some of the SAG-AFTRA strikes, so unfortunately my opportunity to meet Dan Levy was... But even beside that, it was just such an honor to be there. Yeah, such a cool work opportunity, right? The third and final business trip was actually in October, where I went to Irvine and Anaheim. Yes, this does mean I went to Disneyland twice for work, for business. I essentially got paid to go to Disneyland twice in 1 year. I know that sounds so braggy and very cool. I have to brag because this will never happen in my career again, so that was pretty awesome. To top it off, last week I actually went to Portland with my brother. Nice little sibling trip to end the year, and it's just a 2-hour-ish drive for us, so that was just another fun little way to end the year. My brother actually got into nursing school. He is now attending Johns Hopkins as a grad student, so I don't get to see him as often as I used to be able to, so that was a really fun way to spend some time together. Next category, I'm gonna keep this moving. I'm trying to work on being more brief, so next category is concerts and shows. You all know by now that I love music and I love attending live shows. This year I went to 2. I feel like that's pretty average, right? At least it is for me. I went to NCT Dream. I had to go because they were like right down the street from me. Also, how much longer can I go to these shows? You know, I'm only in my 20s once, so... Actually, you know what? I don't even need to justify the fact that I went to that show, okay? I wanted to go, I went, and it was a fun time. I went by myself, which was a unique experience because I haven't been to like that big of a venue, that big of a show by myself in a while? Ever? It was really fun nonetheless. I got to see Mark live. It was incredible. Second, I went to a show that I won't soon forget either. It was the Kiana Lede show. Oh my gosh, incredible performer. It was really raw and emotional, and I was in the front row, and it was a way more intimate space, so I love those kinds of shows. It was so good. She was, I think, maybe my most listened to artist of 2023, so I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, moving right along, right into the next category, which is relationships. It's so funny and just interesting for me to look back on and be like, oh my gosh, at that time of my life, that was the state I was in. 2023 was not filled with a ton of romance. I focused more on nurturing existing relationships and friendships as part of that. That was an area of my life that I felt I needed to cultivate further and just invest more of my time and energy in. I am introverted, as most of you might know, so that was a challenging but wonderful project for me to work on for myself. I did go on some dates throughout the year. I'm glad I went on them. I learned a lot and they were good experiences to have, but none of them were particularly fruitful. I will say I did meet someone towards the end of the year that I had a really good time with. We had a lot of good first experiences together, but mostly for me, this person like really brought me out of my shell, and we had just a lot of fun together. There's a lot I could say about this individual and like our dynamic and my own personal growth within that dynamic, but I'm gonna pump my own brakes there because I always have this habit of getting too ahead of myself or talking too much about something and not jinxing it, but jinxing it a little bit. I mean, I think this person will be part of my life at least in the foreseeable future, so maybe I'll share more then. Okay, but I'll stop there for now. Okay, let's keep this going. A few more categories here. One is personal growth. I think that's a great segue. Not only through that relationship, that dynamic, did I learn so much about myself and feel myself growing a lot. I could like reflect, right? And be like, oh, this is not how I would have behaved or thought previously, but here I am. And I felt pretty proud of that. I think overall what I've written here is that I'm more capable of recognizing and being aware of my triggers / emotional responses and learning how to identify and navigate them in healthy, productive ways. That sounds like a lot, right? But I think this is true, and I'm very proud of this because I got some BS in my life, okay? I've been through some things. Who hasn't? The key for me is to not let those hold me back and keep me trapped in this negative space. It's really about how do I move forward with this, take those learnings with me into my future, and not let that hinder me really. So I'm really happy about that, and I will continue to work on that in the new year as well. I think in general, I'm much more confident in myself as a human and my mindset about how I carry myself. This is in both my personal and professional life, which I will touch on in a bit, but I think this is really critical for me as a girl who grew up with not a ton of confidence and a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of self-deprecating jokes, all of this stuff. I mean, I feel like we all probably have that to some degree, but I think just feeling much more grounded and proud of the person I am. This is something I also will absolutely continue to work on because I'm human. Even though I have this foundational confidence, there are certainly moments where I catch myself falling into old habits and old ways of thinking, so it's something that I will continue to practice and exercise in the new year. Something else that seems minor but I am pretty proud of is that I worked out more. I have my own little routine that I follow. I find it challenging for me and I feel good after it. I feel my body changing in positive ways after doing the exercise, and at least I'm like doing it, right? But anyway, all of those caveats aside, I worked out pretty consistently whenever I was in Seattle. I feel pretty good about that. Even the days I really didn't want to, right? Like those are such hard hurdles for me to get through, especially as someone who didn't grow up in a super athletic environment. I just felt pretty proud of creating these new healthy habits for myself. So I did lose a little bit of weight. I gained it back right now because it's the holidays and I'm at home, but I will get back to it when I'm back in Seattle. I feel like I'm a little chubby again and I lost some of that muscle, but I can gain it back, and I can say that with some degree of confidence. So we'll get back into it. I also drove more. Every time I was in Oregon with my mom, most of the time I drove. Actually, just yesterday, I drove my brother in a different car, in a car I've never driven before. Normally, being how scared and risk averse I am, I probably wouldn't have done that, but I feel like I've gained a lot of confidence again in driving too, and I'm just changing my mindset to like, if I wait, if I don't take these, calculated risks, how will I grow? So anyway, I did that. I felt proud. Something I talked about last year that I am proud to say I kept up with is my Japanese lessons on Duolingo. I am on day 448 of my streak. I kept it up even while I was in Korea. I'm proud of that. It is a consistent behavior that I've built into my daily life. I know there are mixed thoughts out there about, how effective is Duolingo really, but for me, it's a muscle that I think it's better to exercise than not. I feel like I can at least pick up, a decent amount of daily conversation, so I feel like it's worthwhile for me. So there we go. Okay, moving into one of the last categories of professional growth. It's kind of boring, but it's also important and fun and interesting for me to keep track of for myself. I got promoted at the beginning of the year, so that was a really nice way to kick things off. Everything that I said in my last video, I'm excited to see what next year brings. I'm hoping a promotion, a pay raise, and a title change. We shall see though. I was like, I hope I get promoted and a title change and a pay increase. I got it all, baby. And then I also got another pay increase at the mid-year mark, so we made some moves this year. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. Building on the confidence piece earlier, I feel like I have gained a new threshold, a new degree, a new category of confidence in carrying myself in these professional spaces. I've had to present to larger forums with more senior people than ever before, and really taking on this role of subject matter expert and you know, this senior level presence on my team has been huge for my own growth and just that confidence as well. So very excited about that. Again, with anything else, I do have moments where I still struggle with imposter syndrome and that confidence, but overall, I think we're making a lot of progress, and 2024 has so much opportunity. It is packed full of it. Our team is going to grow. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for me to up level in this year, so gotta get after it. There were other small moments throughout the year that I was pretty proud of, and they were very fun, frankly. So beyond the work trips and being on the red carpet and doing all of that for this huge Disney film launch, that was one of the highlights of my career, probably. Just so incredible. I also got to meet Tyler Lockett, the Seahawks player. I organized an office visit with him, casually DMing him, and he was like, I want to visit. And I was like, let's make it happen. And your girl did. So I feel very proud of that. I also made a small acting debut. There's this big event at my company with, you know, thousands of attendees. They needed an actress last minute to play an ice cream truck vendor, and that was me. That was also a really fun experience, just another side project and a reminder that I am fortunate enough to have a very fun, very dynamic job, so I'm grateful for that. So of course there are probably so many moments that I'm leaving out here for the sake of just brevity and time, but man, what a year. I again am saying this with just so much gratitude in my heart. There are also a lot of familial changes I think coming up. My mom has entered a new stage in her life, and I'm so excited for her and just our growing family. More to come on that in the new year as well, I'm sure. Overall, I'm feeling super grounded this year. I usually get super reflective and somewhat kind of somber at the beginning of years, but this year I felt pretty, I don't know, calm, content, relaxed. Yeah, in a good way, in a good way. 2024 for me, I think, will be the year of letting and getting, as I've dubbed it in my diary as well. We recently had a guest speaker. She's a motivational speaker, podcaster named Mel Robbins. I personally hadn't heard of her before, the speaker thing, so sorry Mel, but very popular apparently, and she has this let them theory, which really stuck with me. Let me reference it. Instead of getting upset at other people's actions or trying to control their behavior, just let them do what they're going to do and don't take it personally. When I heard this, I was like, that is literally the way I live my life, so that's gonna be so hard. But given that, it's going to be so transformative for me and my own mental health and well-being if I can uproot this behavior and change the way that I think about things and approach things. So that's the kind of letting part, you know, letting go, letting them, letting others do what they're gonna do and not letting that affect me, really, right? If that makes sense. And then getting after it. This is more about allowing myself to get what I want, what I need, giving myself that mental freedom. This touches on a lot of different categories in my life. Money is a big thing. You all know by now, if you follow my videos, that I sometimes struggle to spend money on myself, but I've been making a lot of progress at this, spending money on experiences that I want to have, just realizing that I won't be this young forever. This experience called life, you know, I need to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it. So investing in my life and fun, positive experiences along the way is so worthwhile. And just other things, getting after things that I want to achieve, that I want to pursue. I don't know, getting this camera, just allowing myself to have that freedom. Another thing that I threw in here is not saying things that I don't mean. It sounds very simple, but it's actually very hard for me. I found that I sometimes just speak on autopilot. A classic example is,
oh my gosh, like we should hang out sometime.
Or
we should go do this.
Societally, we've turned that into a norm where we say that as like a parting message. But if I don't mean that, why would I say it? Okay, maybe that's a mean example. There are lots of other examples out there, but you get the idea, right? I want to be much more intentional about my words and ensuring that I'm able to back up my words with actions. Yeah, just being more thoughtful and intentional about what I say. Paired with that is learning how to say the things that I do mean that are potentially very difficult for me to express, but saying them in a productive and positive way. Again, this kind of falls into like speaking up for myself and advocating for what I want. Another area that I struggle with, but something I'm getting better at and will continue to work at. Yeah, lots for me to go and do this year, but I'm feeling overall, again, very grounded and confident that I'll be able to achieve these things. There's my long spiel, my recap of 2023, and my looking forward at 2024. I hope and will push myself to make more content this year. I don't do it for the views, for the millions of followers that I don't have. I do it to capture my memories and document my life for myself and my friends and family to see, so more to come on that. It wouldn't be a true recap video if I did not invite Kiki! Kiki baby! Ah, hello, my sweet girl. Oh, my sweet baby. I gave her a haircut yesterday. She's so sweet. We're gonna have a good year together, right? Say bye, Kiki. I hope everyone has an equally prosperous, healthy, and fun, memorable 2024, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye!